Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, that controversy is going to dominate the headlines again. And until they switch to it probably will never stop, even if they do switch to Michael Penix. But there has been a turning of the corner with this Falcons pass rush for the third consecutive week, 4 sacks. Now, of course, Desmond Ridder is a guy that you're capable of sacking. He's going to hold the ball on too long. They don't have necessary weapons that are going to threaten you, so it's hard for those guys to get open. But still, 4 sacks. D'Angelo Malone, a couple sacks. Didn't think I'd ever see the day where D'Angelo Malone would have 2 sacks in a game. But this is a pass rush only team in the league, 4+ sacks in 3 straight weeks. They are turning it, and it's been a group effort. Now, listen, the offseason, it's still going to be a top priority. There's absolutely no way they can. But is it possible that maybe some of these younger guys and other pieces, like the depth at least behind those, is okay?
No. The Raiders suck.
Well, the Vikings don't suck.
Well, this is what I'll say. Well, Sam Darnold holds on to the ball entirely too long.
But that was not the case in that game. That was us getting pressure.
I think the pass rush has improved. You'd be an idiot to suggest otherwise. With that being said, when a guy that you know who he is, we know who D'Angelo Malone is. He didn't turn some corner. Has a career day. It says more about the opponent than the guy. And now listen, I'm not going to say the pass. I said the pass rush, against the Chargers. That's when it kind of turned, that they were kind of rushing with more of a group-centric focus, more so than just winning one-on-one battles. They were almost feels like they were doing their job. And I think you'd be an idiot also to, he didn't play this week, but the past 2 weeks, Troy Anderson being in the starting lineup enables Caden Ellis to be more of a pass rusher. Now, against the Raiders, it was a little bit different because Ridder can't pass. The Raiders suck. And Nate Landman wasn't exact. Well, JD Bertrand, it was terrible in coverage. If you had a quarterback back there who knew what he was doing, it would have reared its ugly head. I guarantee it. But I'm not going to at least we were making progress. Jimmy Lake is the only one in that entire game who was being aggressive. Raheem Morris and his coaching decisions were incredibly conservative. Zach Robinson was incredibly conservative. Now, again, I can see why the game would dictate that type of style. But Jimmy Lake was the only one who was out there being aggressive until the final drive when we were just rushing 3, and it nearly bit him in the ass.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm saying is, the Arnold Ebiketis, the Caden Ellis, what he offers to the pass rush. I'm not Matthew Judon, probably one and done. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata doing it. Zach Harrison. I'm just saying the collective group behind him has been better. Obviously, you need still in this.
It needs a complete.
I still think they need 2 starters, but I'm saying if the rest of these guys are your depth and you can get 2 starters up there, you're feeling a little more confident. I just feel a little bit better about the group after these last few weeks, and even Jimmy Lake after the last few weeks than I did 3 weeks ago. And I think with all the crap that we've watched, especially on the offensive side of the ball with Kirk Cousins that we talk about relentlessly on this show, and everybody in the national media talks about, that is kind of getting overlooked. And I just want to give them a little bit of their flowers. You can give Marquise Williams a little bit of their flowers too. But that is the definition of, and you want to talk about poorly coached. I don't know how Antonio Pierce, you get 2 punts blocked and a extra point blocked, and you give up a safety. I mean, that's just, Raheem Morris and Antonio Pierce were going back and forth between just awful coaching. And what the Falcons are doing with Younghoe Koo is just
dig into it.
I mean, Younghoe Koo, my guy, they have no faith.
He's missed more field goals than any other place kicker in football.
And they do not trust him outside of 50 yards. If you don't have a field goal kicker in this league that you can trust outside of 50 yards, and what the hell was that, trying to draw him offside on a field goal? What are we doing? I mean, that stuff is a joke. I almost cursed.
We were in a dome, too. Allegiant Stadium is
an elevated dome.
Is in a dome in the driest part of the country, in a desert. You're telling me you don't trust him, who has, what you've said at the podium. He's done a lot of great things in this league for this team. He's won football games. He won you a football game earlier in the year on a 54-yard.
59.
Or was that a 50?
Yeah.
It was above. It was right. It was at very least right around those 2 field goals that Raheem Morris decided to punt against the Raiders. The Raiders. We're not playing, a field position battle for a playoff spot against the Buccaneers or the Commanders. We are playing the Raiders. If you can't kind of throw him out there in that kind of moment where you're like, even if he misses it, the defense is going to hold because Ritter sucks. You can't ever do it. You're going to go out. You're going to trust them against the Commanders in Washington. It's going to be bad weather probably. And you need a game-winning field goal at 49 yards, 52 yards. You think he's not going to be thinking, Raheem doesn't trust me. Either one, he's hurt. Need a new kicker. Two, you don't trust him. Need a new kicker.
No, I mean, listen, Kirk Cousins, I believe, should be benched. We made that clear. I think Michael Penix needs to be getting these starts, whether he's the best option or not for the future. It makes the most sense. But one thing that should not be tolerated anymore, and this is just absolute total incompetence of Younghoe Koo being the kicker. And I loved what Koo has done for us over the last 3 seasons.
He's done a lot of great things.
But it doesn't matter.
This isn't a business. This isn't a business on friendships. This is what have you done for me lately?
At this point, the Falcons yesterday kicked 2 times inside the 38-yard line.
And he still missed
punted,
one.
No, punted 2 times inside the 38-yard lines. I think they're the first team in the NFL to do that. I mean, it's just it's one thing if it's a close game at the very end or something like that and it's tied and you don't necessarily want to risk it, but this is the middle of the game against a team with absolutely no offense. If you ever wanted to improve the confidence of your kicker, this is your opportunity.
Yes.
And they lack so much confidence in him that they're not even willing to take that little bit of a gamble. I mean, it was very telling on what they think about Younghoe Koo, whether he's injured, his ability, his confidence, but there's absolutely 0% chance he should be kicking for this team next week. I mean, as much as we laugh about the Falcons being a playoff team, and neither of us up here think they deserve to be in the playoffs, they still have an opportunity to make the postseason. And you're telling me that's going to be the guy who's going to be kicking a game-winning field goal? I don't care if it's from 38 yards. Nobody trusts him.
He missed a 40-yard field goal last night.
Nobody trusts. Yes, I mean, he can't be the kicker.
He can't be the kicker anymore. And I went up and battled for this guy. That kicker is one of those positions where you think it's better, the grass is greener. It is not. It might be greener. He has missed, I think he's tied for the most missed field goals in the NFL. At a certain point, you either have to acknowledge the fact that he's lost a step, he's hurt, whatever it might be, to move forward.
And listen, Younghoe Koo's done some good things for this team over the last 3 years. He's not Justin Tucker. Let's be real.
He doesn't have the cash.
Yes, he does. There's very few kickers
Justin
that
Tucker
actually
is a
have.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, there's very few kickers that have the cachet to go through one of these streaks, and you can say, you know what, I trust you. At the end of the day, you're working hard. Yada yada yada. He's not Justin Tucker.
It's another money thing.
And
he's
even
one of the highest paid kickers in the league.
And even people think they should be cutting Justin Tucker. If we're having that conversation about Justin Tucker, who's been the best kicker of basically the last decade plus, Younghoe Koo, who you literally have no faith in kicking anything over 50 yards, and even 40 to 50 is a question mark. No way he should be the kicker. We're going to get into some other talk that's coming after the break. Take a little break from the Falcons and that horrendous performance on Monday night.